Hello, hello, hello. We're going to get started here. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to Planned Parenthood's Columbia Willamette's 2019 annual luncheon. It's so good to be in this room with all of you, and we're so thankful for you being here, supporting us and supporting the incredible work we do. We are so excited to have Governor Kate Brown with us to kick us off today.
Good afternoon, everyone. How are you guys doing today? Are you ready for a little celebration? Okay, you can do better than that. We have guests here. All right, well, thank you all for taking time out of your busy schedules to join us. I want to do an introduction of the electeds that are here. First of all, please welcome Congresswoman Suzanne Bonamici. I think that the first woman Attorney General in the great state of Oregon is here, Ellen Rosenblum. And I know we have one of the co-chairs of the Budget Committee here, Senator Elizabeth Steiner Hayward. Where are you? You got to be really nice to her because she signs the budgets. Representative Barbara Smith Warner, where are you? Like, stand up, stand up. We saw Representative Janine Salmons come in. Yay! And all the way from Deschutes County, District Attorney John Hummel, where are you? And then, of course, representing your Multnomah County Commission, Jessica Vega Peterson. And Dr. Sharon Mirren. Where's Dr. Mirren? Yay! Okay, did I miss anyone? Good, because somebody gave me a list. I also know there are a lot of other former elected leaders here today. I want to have them just stand up and let's give them a round of applause for their service and thank you for being here. None, I don't see any. They don't want to stand anymore. They're like done. They don't want to stand anymore. Okay. I see today as a time for a bit of a celebration, and 47 years ago, this particular week, Roe versus Wade was decided in the U.S. Supreme Court. Yes. 2 years ago, maybe not quite 2 years ago, Oregon passed another landmark reproductive health access law that was essentially challenged on the ballot this last election cycle. But our voters, our Oregon voters, showed the country that we are a pro-choice majority, and we voted down that effort to repeal our Reproductive Health Equity Act. Great job. It's pretty exciting. It's good news. I hope that Oregon will continue to lead the way, not just here in this state, but across the country, in terms of ensuring that women have full and complete access to reproductive health. But as everyone knows, we can't stop fighting now. Healthcare is a fundamental right for Oregonians and for Americans. Because of the work we've done to expand the Oregon Health Plan, today 94% of adults have access. And because of the work we did last session to pass Cover All Kids, every single one of our children has access. Families across Oregon need to know that they'll be able to see a doctor when they're sick, and they need to know that their children are safe and that they can afford child care. And they shouldn't have to make a choice between paying the rent and staying home with a newborn. So let's work together to take those worries off the table and give our Oregon families stability and certainty. Are you guys ready to go to work? Oregon families are counting on us. Are you guys with me? All right, let's make it happen. Let's keep Oregon moving forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Governor Brown, for those inspiring words and for always having your constant support for Planned Parenthood. Thank you so much. I am thrilled to let you know that we have a challenge match today for today's luncheon. Any gift over the suggested luncheon donation can be doubled up to $75,000. Yeah, pretty amazing. Thanks to Samantha Richardson, who unfortunately could not join us today, and Christine and David Vernier. We applaud their outstanding commitment to making Planned Parenthood's work possible. Thank you so much. I've got a few more thank yous to make. If you could please hold your applause till the end. To our top sponsors, thank you for making our work possible. Samantha Richardson, Christine and David Vernier, Evans Van Buren, Schwabe, Williamson and Wyatt, Arlene Schnitzer, Hilton Portland, Kathleen and David Altman, Sharon and Steve Brenner, Sally Brown, Deschutes Brewing, Rosemary Rosenfeld, Molly Forrester, Green Gables, Susan Hammer, Janet Hoffman and Associates, OHSU, Stoll Reeves, Synergy Women's Health. It is also my pleasure to thank the Hillman family for their transformational gift in memory of their beloved matriarch, Elise Hillman. Have a picture? For the new Elise H. Hillman East Portland Health Center, we are so grateful that Amber and Juliet could be here with us today. Amber and Juliet, if you could please stand to be recognized. Thank you for helping us make this work possible. And finally, I'd like to recognize my fellow board members in the room. If you could please stand to be recognized. This is a hard-working group of people here. So today is a little bittersweet for me, as this is my last annual luncheon as board chair. Although they have tried to keep me. But 7 years has been wonderful. It has been my honor to serve Planned Parenthood Columbia-Willamette. I'm very proud of the work we do, and I'm proud of what Planned Parenthood represents in our community and across the country. We are a badass, time's up, dissenting, woman-led organization. And we fight to lift up all people in all of our communities. Planned Parenthood is multi-generational, multiracial, LGBTQIA inclusive, and we come from different socioeconomic backgrounds. We are inclusive and a beacon of light in a time that can often feel dark. As Dr. MLK Jr. said, darkness cannot drive out darkness, only light can do that. Hate cannot drive out hate, only love can do that. And this is what Planned Parenthood does. I plan to continue to stand with Planned Parenthood Columbia-Willamette moving forward. I am very confident that my board colleagues will build on our work together and continue to provide exemplary strategic vision for PPCW. I'd now like to introduce Daisy Hawes, an inspiring voice of equity and PPCW alumna. Daisy is an external healthcare union organizer for SEIU Local 49. Woo. She exemplifies the spirit of dissent that we hold dear, and it is my pleasure to welcome her to the podium. Daisy.
Thank you, Governor Brown, and thank you, CETA. I am proud to be here today. Sorry. As CETA shared, I am a PPCW alumna, and I now work for SEIU Loco 49, which was the first labor union to oppose the attack on reproductive health care on last year's ballot. I remain steadfastly committed to our shared values, serving all people who need sexual and reproductive health care and reducing barriers that our Oregon and Southwest Washington community members face in accessing care. I have also been a Planned Parenthood patient, and the high quality care that I received meant a lot to me. Joining us today are Jalen Buckalter from the Southeast Health Center, Tatiana Dumbrow from the Northeast Health Center, and Marissa Schumacher, also from the Northeast Health Center. Please stand. Jalen, Tatiana, and Marissa are PPCW employees and stewards, and I applaud their work as frontline health center staff. Employees like Jalen, Tatiana, and Marissa are the face of PPCW patients, and they do a wonderful job at making PPCW a welcoming place, one that sets PPCW apart as a destination that is open to all who need care, whether they're uninsured, underinsured, or even insured. PPCW is here to build a vibrant community where equity and access is the rule, not the exception. A community where all are valued and every individual can receive accurate and comprehensive sex education. A community where all can benefit from high-quality healthcare and where all can thrive. When PPCW's patients arrive for a visit and see a clinic worker who represents our community, it means a lot. I want to congratulate PPCW for its commitment to equity and its ongoing work towards building a culturally competent team that better represents its patients. When all of us have access to health care we need to live empowered lives, we are stronger. This is exactly why I support PPCW. I am confident that together, with friends like all of you, we are moving in the right direction. I'm here today to ask to make a gift to PPCW. I'm asking you to pick up your pen, fill out your envelope, and generously give to sustain and grow PPCW's work across Oregon and Southwest Washington. Thank you for standing with PPCW. Now I would like to introduce and welcome Sharon Brenner from the PPCW Annual Luncheon Committee to introduce our keynote speaker. Sharon.
Thank you, Daisy, for your inspiring call to action and for the bridges you build in our community. On behalf of the Annual Luncheon Committee, I want to thank each and every one of you for being here today and for the generous support you give to Planned Parenthood. It is my pleasure today to introduce our keynote speaker, Irene Carmon. Irene is a senior correspondent at New York Magazine. She is the co-author of Notorious RBG, The Life and Times of Ruth Bader Ginsburg. When the book debuted, it spent 3 months on the New York Times bestseller list. But before we hear all about that book, I want to just give you a few highlights of her career. Irene is helped to break the news of the sexual harassment and assault allegations against Charlie Rose, as well as CBS's knowledge of his conduct. This work won a 2018 Mirror Award from the Newhouse School at Syracuse University. This award honors journalists who hold a mirror to their own industry for the benefit of the people. Previously, she was a national reporter at MSNBC and NBC News, reporting on gender, politics, and the law. And she was a staff writer for Salon and Jezebel. While at Harvard, she wrote for the Harvard Crimson and we graduated magna cum laude with a distinction of honors in literature in 2005. And now, let's hear about RBG. Please join me in welcoming our speaker.
Good afternoon, everybody. Can you hear me? Yes? Hi. How's it going? Thank you so much for that introduction. I already feel, just from having been here with you for a little while, that this is a room full of notorious ones. It's a thrill to be here at PPCW. Before, we were talking a little bit about the ways that Oregon has really led the way, so much so that it took until this week for my home state, New York, to even come close to the Reproductive Health Care Equity Act that you defended successfully. So I want to say thank you for showing us the way. The rest of the country should catch up to Oregon. The rest of the country has a lot to learn about what it means to truly defend access to health care and to truly make equity real and to make justice a reality in people's lives. So thank you so much for showing us the way it's done. Now, I want to tell you guys a story. And this story begins with 2 words. I dissent. I'm going to start this story in June 2013. Now, some of you may know that the most important cases that the Supreme Court hands down tend to be saved for the end. They save the best for last. And on this particular week, June 2013, Justice Ginsburg had been up all night and had broken a record. Now, the usual way that we hear about Supreme Court decisions is inside the courtroom, there are no cameras allowed. There are people who run out of the courtroom to let us know what decisions have come down, and there are court artists. So here is a live court artist sketch. Now, some of you may know, but just in case you don't know, Justice Ginsburg tends to wear a collar that expresses her mood. Now, I had an opportunity to fact-check this image with Justice Ginsburg, who is a really precise and sometimes intimidating person. I sat with her and I said, "Is this your dissent collar?" And she said, "Yes." Fun side note, I had the honor of Justice Ginsburg performing my wedding in 2017. And I'm done, that's my whole speech. And everybody kept asking us, what is Justice Ginsburg going to wear? And my husband said, as long as it's not the dissent collar. I am pleased to say she did not dissent in that union. But she did dissent on this day, and she did so in a way that was unusual. So the justice that's in the majority tends to write their opinion and then announce it, and then they might say, X justice has a dissent. But if you're really pissed off, if you really want the world to listen, you deliver an oral dissent. You put on that dissent collar and you make everybody in the room listen to your protest. This is so rare that some justices have never done it. Justice Ginsburg, in this 1 week, dissented from the bench, as it's called, 3 times. Yeah, the first. Now, why might you do this? You might do it if you think that something is grievously wrong. The 2 previous cases that she had dissented in, one involved labor rights, the right to sue in discrimination cases when you have been discriminated against. Another one involved affirmative action. And this particular case on this day, in June 2013, was about voting rights. One of the most important pieces of civil rights era legislation, the Voting Rights Act, one of the most important provisions in that act, preclearance, which said that before states could change their voting laws, the federal government had to certify that they did not discriminate against historically disenfranchised populations. Well, Chief Justice John Roberts had the majority opinion that day, And he said we no longer needed it. He said the country has changed so much. Yeah, right, 2013. Racism was over then. Any discrimination in voting is too much, he said, but our country has changed and it is no longer needed. Now, Justice Ginsburg, in her verbal dissent and her written one, had a pretty good response to that. She said that getting rid of this preclearance provision was like throwing away your umbrella in a rainstorm because you're not getting wet. Now, I don't want to offend the lawyers in the room, but it's pretty rare to find a legal opinion that is quite so elegant. Justice Ginsburg was furious. She had been on the bench for 20 years. She was 80 years old. She had been known at first as a consensus seeker, but she wanted everybody to listen. She wanted us all to be on the alert that something was very wrong with what we know as the Roberts Court. And amid the fury that a lot of advocates for equality felt on that day, she was a beacon. She was an inspiration for calling us to attention at this injustice and what it might mean. Because indeed, when it comes to voting rights, not here, but in many other states, it's raining and we no longer have that umbrella. The storm is raging, as Justice Ginsburg said. So this day of the Shelby County versus Holder dissent, the reason I'm talking to you about this dissent among all of Justice Ginsburg's amazing dissents is that this happened. On that particular day, a law student named Shauna Kniznik was so inspired by Justice Ginsburg, she decided to create a tribute to her, a Tumblr, a visually driven blog, Notorious RBG. Now, some of you might know more about reproductive justice than you do about gangster rap. So just in case you don't know where this pun is going, okay, so you might think, what does Justice Ginsburg have in common with a 300-pound rapper? It's true. One of them keeps a copy of the Constitution in her handbag, and the other one rapped about the 10 crack commandments. But this tribute was meant affectionately. Sure, it was also a joke, but it was meant affectionately. It was meant to draw attention to how Justice Ginsburg was using her words to defend marginalized people from her position on the highest court in the land. What began as a little joke became something of a phenomenon. You can see all of a sudden posters started appearing all around the country. You can't spell truth without Ruth. T-shirts, that's my little brother. He actually, a fun story, he actually walked Justice Ginsburg down the aisle at our wedding, and I asked her, and my husband was like, we asked the handsomest boy to walk you down. Okay, RBG nail art. Pretty cool, right? I got to see this in person. Among the other tributes, this one is called Justice Ginsburg Smites Her Enemies. I like this needlepoint a lot. I like to say that Lego RBG, you know, when I actually saw the Lego in the flesh, it's like this big, but so is Justice Ginsburg. Tiny, packs a punch. All right, raise your hand if you've ever dressed up like RBG for Halloween. Yeah, it's a great costume. She's got a look. She's got a look. How many Supreme Court justices have become recurring characters on Saturday Night Live? Fear the frill. Again, if you're in this room and you see that dissent collar, you indeed have to feel some fear. So, around this time, people started tattooing Justice Ginsburg's image permanently on their bodies in tribute. This one on the right is her Cornell yearbook photo. That's a deep cut. So when I started working on the book, at the time I worked at MSNBC, I got the opportunity to interview Justice Ginsburg. And I brought with me a tablet that had the photo of the tattoos, and I had a question all queued up to ask her. about it, but I just when I held up the image, instead of telling you what she said, I'm just going to show you her face. And that's when you realize, for all of her notoriety, that she's actually someone's Jewish grandma. She literally said, at least when my granddaughter got a nose ring, you can take that out. And another funny side story, when I finished the book, Sean and I finished our book, and we sent it to Justice Ginsburg in case she had any factual changes. She's very precise. And she sent us some notes, like to make sure that her husband, Marty, he also baked carrot cake for the clerks. It literally said, add carrot. I went to a ceremony where she was being honored, and she saw me across the room and she motioned for me. And as lovely as she is, I was so scared. We had printed all of the copies of the book, but we had not yet released it. And I was convinced, despite the fact that Justice Ginsburg is such a champion of the First Amendment, I was totally sure she was going to tell us that we had to burn all the copies. And she said, Erin, the tattoos, they go too far. You have to tell people to stop getting tattoos of my face. So I'm telling people, this is my message. No, this is her message. And I have to say that it's one of the few messages of hers that I don't endorse, because your body, your choice. Governor Brown, I'm looking at you. If anybody in this room, including but not limited to Governor Brown, would like to get a tattoo, email us. We will post it. There's a lot of possibility. I have lots of deep cut photos for you. Okay, but seriously, what is going on here? We all love a good meme. We all love a good feminist icon. But why? Why was this happening? Why is it continuing to happen? Last year, Justice Ginsburg marked her 25th year on the Supreme Court. May she have 50. She was 80 years old when she became an icon. And even though she actually had to ask her clerks, who is this notorious? She has since embraced her unlikely fame. And I want to talk a little bit about how, in fact, Justice Ginsburg was notorious from the start. And we've gotten an opportunity to hear a lot of amazing things about her life, which is truly inspiring, and the work that she's done. But because you're in this room, because you care about reproductive rights, health, and justice, I'm going to talk a little bit about how her life experiences shaped her commitment to those issues. And this story starts with this young lady, Ruth Bader, born to immigrant parents in Flatbush, Brooklyn. It's funny, every time I see this yearbook photo, I think about Brett Kavanaugh's yearbook photo. It's a little different. Like, I don't think that he was the treasurer of the go-getters. But now I have something to aspire to. This young woman excelled in school, but she also had a secret. And her secret was that her mother had cervical cancer. She had been diagnosed early in her teens. Now, her mother was a brilliant woman who had never gotten the opportunity to live out her dreams. She was someone whose only dream for her only daughter was that she be a lady and that she be independent. And because her mother, Celia, had never gotten to continue her education, her dream for her daughter was that she attend college, specifically Cornell University, where young Celia had worked in a sweatshop in order for her brother to attend college. So every day, when she came home from school, young Ruth would do her homework by her mother's bed. None of her friends even knew that her mother was dying of cancer. By the way, if only she had had access to Planned Parenthood. And I asked her, why? Why didn't you tell any of your friends? She was a popular girl. She had a lot of friends. She said, I didn't want anyone to feel sorry for me. So she excelled. She was accepted to Cornell University. the morning before her the morning before her high school graduation, where she was scheduled to give a speech, her mother died, and she never made it to that speech. And her mother left behind a legacy for her, which is that despite the fact that the family didn't have much money, despite the fact that the family business had done pretty poorly in the Depression, she had managed to save $8,000 in 1950 for her daughter's education. At Cornell, she was very focused on school. She was so focused on school that she actually found out, it wasn't that fashionable for the girls at Cornell to be studious, so she would study in the bathroom. She said the architecture school bathroom was the best bathroom. She met a guy. His name was Marty Ginsburg. If you've seen the documentary, you've seen the love between them. But I just want to say briefly that Justice Ginsburg liked to say that he was the only boy she ever met who cared that she had a brain. Now, I always think that this is kind of an epic humble brag when she says this, because she was really cute. And I think that she's actually saying he's the first person that looked beyond how incredibly beautiful she was. But they soon realized that they would have a marriage that was different from the other marriages of the time, that they would study the same thing, that they would work together, that they would be partners in life and in work. But there was a little bit of a detour. Sure, they both got accepted to Harvard Law School, but Marty was drafted, and they ended up having to spend a year in Oklahoma on a military base. She found a job working at the Social Security office, where the first brush with discrimination that she witnessed, the system engaging in that discrimination, when in order to register for Social Security, you needed a birth certificate. But in that part of Oklahoma, there were many Native Americans who didn't have that kind of documentation. So she would quietly bend the rules and accept a hunting or a fishing license in order to allow them access to the Social Security to which they were entitled. But soon she discovered another surprise. She was pregnant. Now, it was happy news, but there was a problem. There was no law that protected pregnant women from discrimination. There was no reason why, when she told her employer she was only 3 months pregnant, that they had to demote her and tell her that when she gave birth, she would have to leave the job. And she accepted this. That was just the way things were. She was determined to go to Harvard Law School despite the fact that she was a parent, despite the fact that there were only 9 women in her law school class at Harvard. She was so excited to study the law. Here she is as one of only 2 women at the Harvard Law Review. They called them the roses among the thorns when we interviewed the other woman in this picture. That's what the photographer said, 2 roses among the thorns. There were still libraries that she wasn't allowed to go inside because she was a woman. The first week on campus, the dean of students invited all 9 women to dinner, where he asked them to answer the following question: how can you justify taking the place of a man? Now, I'm pretty sure, maybe it was sarcastic, maybe it was a joke, or maybe it was just the only lie I'm aware of Justice Ginsburg ever telling. Her answer was, because I wanted to be a better wife to my husband. Okay. They figured it out. She was a parent. She was a law student. She was, in fact, the only married woman in her class. They figured it out until one day, more bad news came. Marty was diagnosed with testicular cancer at a time in which treatment options were few. She was determined that he would graduate on time, that he would survive, that the family would stay together. And that's around the time that she discovered that she could get by on about 2 hours of sleep, which I don't recommend. In fact, I recently, at the premiere of On the Basis of Sex, Justice Ginsburg was asked, so this is that time that you realized that you could get by on 3 hours of sleep, and she said, still can. That was 48 hours before she went to the hospital for her surgery, so she's tough. This was when her mettle was tested. She would go to her own classes. She enlisted Marty's friends to take notes in his classes. Then she would stay up all night, typing up notes for him, taking dictation of the paper, of his papers, taking care of her daughter. At around 2 a.m., she would start her own work. When she finished law school at Columbia, where she transferred to be closer to Marty's job, she was tied for first in her law school class. Funny thing though, nobody would hire her. She said she had 3 strikes against her. She was a woman, she was a mother, and she was a Jew. And yet, the funny thing is she didn't call herself a feminist. I think she was 37 when she first realized that the sum total of her experience added up to that. That's why when, in 1963, when she became pregnant the second time, she had learned not to make the same mistake again, which was don't tell your employer. That was the lesson that she had learned from being demoted and then fired for being pregnant. So she actually borrowed baggy clothes from her mother-in-law, because at that time, the only job she could find was teaching civil procedure at Rutgers University, where she was one of only 2 women faculty. And it just so happened that she was due in September. So, and this was before there was any kind of legal protection for pregnant women to have to choose between their jobs and their families. So 2 weeks after she gave birth, she was back on campus teaching, none the wiser. The campus was none the wiser. But it was a time that things began to change. It was, in fact, and I can see that there are people of all ages in this room, the thing that really strikes me about her story is what an intergenerational story it was. She learned from the women who came before her, but when she became somebody who challenged the system, it was because of the women that she taught, who taught her. It was young women who went to Professor Ginsburg because she was one of only 2 women on the entire law school faculty and said, enough is enough. They wanted a class on women in the law. She started volunteering at the ACLU of New Jersey, and that's when she started reading letters. In fact, there was a pile of letters where they said, you're a woman. These are letters from women. And what did the letters say? They were women who had been forced off the job for becoming pregnant. They were women who had been denied access to educational programs because they were women or because they were girls. There was even a postal worker who was complaining about the fact that she was forced to wear the women's hat, which didn't actually protect your head from the sun. And we have in the book excerpted a letter that she wrote on that postal worker's behalf because no case too small. I don't think that the post office knew what hit them. It was at that moment that she realized that the way that she had been treated just because she became pregnant or because she was a mother or because she was a woman, it wasn't an isolated circumstance. It was an order of the universe that said that because of our reproductive capacities, women were, the language they used was separate, on a pedestal, but women were being subordinated and told that it was a favor. And all of these things were inextricably linked, and worst of all, they were enshrined in the understanding of the Constitution. So for over a century, the Supreme Court had said that this was the natural order, that the Creator had endowed women with reproductive capacities, and thus there were all kinds of things that women couldn't do, like serve on a jury, practice law, run a bar, arbitrary things that appealed, that offended her sense of rationality. And that's when she realized that she was going to go for all of it. She was going to take on the US Constitution. This formerly meek woman, who had quietly put up with all of the discrimination, decided that she was going to co-found the ACLU Women's Rights Project, and that she was going to mount a litigation campaign that by the time she was done, in the 10 years that she did that, until she became a federal judge, 9 male Supreme Court justices were forced to recognize that women are people. Were forced to recognize that the state could not tell them how and when to be mothers, could not tell them what it means to be a woman, or in many cases that she brought on behalf of men, what it means to be a man. Because she had learned in her own life that gender equality would only happen if men were true partners in all aspects of life. I just want to talk very briefly about a case that Justice Ginsburg brought on behalf of a woman that shows how she turned her experiences into a legal and political commitment to change things for the better for everyone. This is Susan Struck. She was an Air Force nurse when she became pregnant. And her choice was that she wanted to put the baby up for adoption. Now, funny story. This was before Roe v. Wade. Her case began in 1971. Despite the fact that abortion was legal throughout the United States, except for a few states and with a few exceptions, abortion was actually legal on military bases. How did Justice Ginsburg know this? Well, she'd been stationed on one. Not only was it legal, it was practically compulsory. If you wanted to serve this country while pregnant, you had to choose between leaving the service altogether or having an abortion. Your pregnancy or your job. A labor issue and a reproductive justice issue, and a gender equality issue. Susan Struck wanted to take sick leave, not any longer than if she had broken her arm. Then she wanted to give the baby up for adoption. The military said no. And Justice Ginsburg, Ruth Bader Ginsburg, brought a case on her behalf, and she said, if you subject a woman to disadvantageous treatment on the basis of her pregnant status, which is what happened to Captain Struck, you would be denying her equal treatment under the law. She wrote in her brief, individual potential must not be restrained nor equal opportunity limited by law-sanctioned stereotypical prejudgments. From the start, her commitment to reproductive justice was about women's equality in the world to chart our own destinies. This was something she knew a thing or two about from her own life. Now, interestingly enough, this is the case that Justice Ginsburg still says that she hoped at the time that the Supreme Court would take it, and in fact they did agree to hear it, and that this is the case that would make abortion legal in the United States. Why? Because she thought if you started with a case in which the woman's choice was something else, people would realize that it's not about which choice you make, but the ability to do so. Funny thing happened though. The Solicitor General at the time was a man named Erwin Griswold, who had been the dean of Harvard Law School the very first week, who asked her to justify taking the place of a man. This was her adversary in that case. He realized that this case was a loser. The United States was forcing a woman to have an abortion. So he quickly petitioned the Pentagon to change the law, to change the regulation, so that the case would be dismissed as moot. She never got her hearing at the US Supreme Court. Roe v. Wade is something, you go to war with the decision that you have. But Justice Ginsburg, until today, thinks of this case as the one that got away. And it's so important as we consider the next step beyond technically legal abortion, being about full access and about a true choice, an uncoerced choice, whether that choice is to carry a pregnancy to term or not. I think that helps us understand why, when in 1993 Justice Ginsburg was nominated to the Supreme Court by Bill Clinton, why she had this particular understanding of the importance of reproductive justice. Here's what she said when she was asked to explain why she was pro-choice. She said, "This is something central to a woman's life, to her dignity. It is a decision she must make for herself. And when government controls that decision for her, she's being treated as less than a fully adult human, responsible for her own choices. Heard a little bit about the so-called Ginsburg rule. I consider this the Ginsburg rule. But you can understand how, from the beginning, Justice Ginsburg realized that the rights of pregnant people and women's equality were one and the same and could not be separated. I like to think of this as the image in which Justice Ginsburg became fully notorious. Now, you may know that as a Supreme Court Justice, RBG has stood up again and again for reproductive rights. She has dissented, and in Whole Woman's Health in 2016, we were really happy to see her in the majority, concurring separately. She said she wrote separately because she thought Justice Breyer's opinion was too long. She said she wanted to write to tell the states, don't try it. But of course, we know that they will try it. Maybe not your state, but maybe 1 or 2 states away. So I want to close by just sharing with you some of the lessons that I have learned from Justice Ginsburg's life that I hope will also be inspirational for you. The first one, this is advice that she gives. Fight for the things you care about, but do so in a way that will lead others to join you. Now, the paradox of this notorious RBG nickname has always been that Justice Ginsburg would prefer to be in the majority. She doesn't really want to go down dissenting in glory. That's just what history forced her to do. She would much rather actually change the outcome of the law closer to justice. No wonder that for a while her best friend on the court was Justice Scalia. There are 9 members, lifetime appointments. They've got to go in and figure out how to get to 5. You can dissent in glory when you have no other option. But a lesson from her life is that without convincing a majority of those 9 male justices that she asked to consider women fully human, we wouldn't be here. Some of you may be aware that Justice Ginsburg can do 20 push-ups. I'm often in contact with her personal trainer. Every time she has a health scare, I call him up and he tells me, Erin, you know better than anyone else. She's tough as nails. Her nickname is Tan, tough as nails. When I interviewed her, I asked her, is it true that you can do 20 push-ups? And like I said, she's very precise. So she said, yes, but we do 10 at a time. We take a breath, and then we do 10 more. I think that this is really important because this is going to be a long fight. Sometimes you need to do 10 push-ups, take a breath, and then do 10 more. The kind of perseverance that she's had to exhibit into her 86th year is something that inspires me every day. If she can keep going to work, and Brett Kavanaugh's her colleague, and Clarence Thomas is her colleague, I think we can all step up to the plate. And, you know, I think back, yeah. In fact, right after Shauna nicknamed RBG the notorious RBG, she was invited to Chambers, along with a few other people who had made memes, to Justice Ginsburg's office. And she had a health scare around that time. This is 2015. And she had a heart stent put in. Shauna was sure that the meeting would be canceled or postponed, but she was assured, no, it's still on. And as they filed into her office, they saw that she had a little bruise on her wrist, but otherwise seemed fine. And they asked her, you know, what message do you have for all the people who want to know how you're doing? And she said, tell them I'll be back doing push-ups next week. On the day that Justice Ginsburg became the notorious RBG, she quoted a really famous Martin Luther King line in her dissent in Shelby County versus Holder. She said, the arc of the moral universe is long, but it bends towards justice. Okay, we've heard it before. We've heard Barack Obama quote it. We heard a lot of people quote it. But only RBG had an edit to offer MLK. And I don't think it's caught on. It's caught on probably, it's not meme-worthy, let's put it that way. She added, if there is a steadfast commitment to see the task through to completion. Again, the arc of the moral universe is long, but it bends towards justice. If there is a steadfast commitment to see the task through to completion. That steadfast commitment, that's what you're doing in this room. That's the work that you do outside. It's not the commitment of one person. It's a commitment we all have to find in ourselves, because this is going to be a really long fight, and it's not going to end if he who shall not be named leaves office. It's going to be a long slug. And in fact, Justice Ginsburg has always said that she didn't work alone. She was part of a movement. When she lifted her voice in dissent, when she did so from the bench in that record-breaking way, she was asking all of us to listen to what was going wrong in this country, to the fact that the court had been hijacked, that these important protections had been undermined. And so, because this is not just about one extraordinary person, I have personally made a list of my own dissents, and I'm going to share them with you. And if you also dissent from these things, feel free to say it with me. I dissent. Let's practice. I dissent. It's fun, right? RBG is not the only one who can use her voice in dissent. Okay. I dissent from an ideology that denies people reproductive autonomy based on who they are or where they live. I dissent because everybody deserves to be paid a fair wage. I dissent. I'm going to point to you. Because facts matter, because science matters, and the truth matters. I dissent. Because Black lives matter. I dissent from a system that puts kids in cages and wants to build more walls. I dissent. Because my voice matters, and because your voice matters, and only with our voices together can we bring about justice. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Wow. So, hello, I am Ann Udall. I'm the CEO and president of Planned Parenthood's Columbia-Willamette, and I can't tell you, I cannot tell you how happy it makes me to be able to say that to all of you. So, it's a great pleasure for me to finish up our annual luncheon, another amazing one, with a few expressions of gratitude and thank you. So my first thank you, huge thank you, to Erin Carmone for giving us and reminding us of why we all love RBG. She's just incredible. It reminds me why I light a candle every night on my metaphorical altar to RBG. I've just added Bob Mueller and now Nancy Pelosi, so I'm just telling you. There's another thank you that I want to give Governor Brown, Attorney General Rosenblum, and all of you in this room and in our overflow room that serve the public through an elected office. This is hard work that you are all engaged in. It is not easy, and you do it on behalf of all of us in this state and in Southeast Washington as well. So thank you very much for your... So my biggest thank you, though, goes to all of you in this room and in our overflow room. We're so big now, we have to have more people, so let's acknowledge our overflow room. Not only for joining us today, but actually for just always being there for us. I'm honored to serve as the president of PPCW. I'm humbled by the opportunity. It's a privilege to work with the staff, with leaders, with supporters, with community partners, and friends. Governor Brown talked about this, but we are celebrating the 46th anniversary of Roe versus Wade this week. I mean, I don't know about the rest of you, but that's a long time. And I think some of you in this room weren't born when Roe versus Wade happened. And some of you apparently celebrate birthdays along the same. You mark your birthday by this week. So I want to say that 46 years, we stand strong at PPCW and we stand together. And we want to thank you for being at our side, and I want to thank you for your generous gifts to us today. We have a saying around our office: we will never give up. So I want to just say that one more time. We will never give up. Or, as I might quote the theme today, we dissent. Yes. So we showed this strength and purpose and unity when Oregon defeated Measure 106. Yep. Your votes truly made a difference. As one of my favorite staff members said, we didn't just defeat Measure 106, we crushed it. He actually said it a little bit stronger than that, but I think you guys can get it. So I thought it might be nice today to specifically thank all the members of the executive committee of the coalition that came together in true solidarity and collaboration against Measure 106. Let me start with SEIU 49, who represents our amazing frontline staff at PPCW. SEIU 43, and you can cheer and wave for all these great organizations. ACLU Oregon, unbelievable. Asian Pacific American Network of Oregon. Forward Together, yay. NARAL Pro-Choice Oregon. Oregon Nurses Association, Western State Center, our sister affiliate, Planned Parenthood of Southwestern Oregon, the CEO, Lisa, is here, Gardner is here with us. And of course, our colleagues at PPAO, Planned Parenthood Advocates of Oregon. Thanks to all of our coalition. You know, our collective message, I had it written kind of much nicer than I'm going to say it, so I think Aaron's motivated me. But our collective message for Measure 106 was don't mess with Oregon. So, I mean, it was rarely clear, and we said we're going to keep steadfast to our commitment to sexual and reproductive rights for all people who live here. So I want to just say, looking ahead, we have no plans to slow down. PPCW is continuing to find ways to serve more patients. And one of our newest projects is the LCH Hillman East Portland Health Center, which is now becoming a reality. We've bought the building. We're getting ready to break ground in the next couple months. So we're so excited. Amber, thank you. Many of you in this room have been instrumental in making this possible through extraordinary leadership gifts. We greatly value your investment in this important project, and we're very proud of your commitment to our mission. So I love the people that I get to work with every day. I am surrounded by amazing dissenters in so many different ways. They're just incredible. And I can stand up here as the CEO, but they're the ones who are providing the service and education, the healthcare and education to everyone who comes through our doors. So I'd love to have people both in the overflow room and in here who work for PPCW to stand, and I would like to acknowledge your incredible work on behalf of Oregonians and Washingtonians. Please stand. And this luncheon, I want to also applaud our annual luncheon committee. These people work very hard. Apparently, though, they get to taste the food, which so that's apparently the nicest part of the job. But they really pull together, and you can see that we are always at overflow. So big, big shout out to the annual luncheon committee and all the board members also who really make a difference. So thank you all for sharing part of this afternoon with us. As I said earlier, your support means everything to me and to the staff and to the people we serve. I thought it might be fitting to end with a quote from the notorious RBG herself after she lost a case in the Supreme Court. "I'm dejected, but only momentarily, when I can't get the fifth vote for something that I think is very important. But then you go on to the next challenge and you give it your all. You know that these important issues are not going to go away. They are going to come back again and again. There will be another time and another day. And we'll see you at that day. So enjoy, and thank you all for being here."